Good morning. It is Tuesday and we are here in school and it is so cold outside. I don't know about you and where you live, but here where we live, it is freezing and we could not even go outside for walking club this morning or anything because it's so cold. But that also means it's winter and it's going to be winter for a while. So we're just embracing the cold and we're going to try to stay warm inside today and enjoy all of the good feely things like warmth, like the warmth that we get from our heater or the warmth that we get from being kind to other kids or the warmth that we get from opening Valentines together. All of those fun things. So we would love for you to join us for our story this morning, and it's called The Biggest Valentine Ever. Hold on, time out. We read a story like this before. It was called The Biggest Apple Ever, The Biggest Snowman Ever, The Biggest Pumpkin Ever. Okay, now we got to think about this for a minute. Who were the characters in those stories? We had, yes, what do you think? Clayton and these names are kind of different. Can I give you a hint? It starts with D. Clayton and D.
Dan.
No, good guess though. Desmond. Do you remember those names? Clayton and Desmond. And they were in the other story. And here they are. Look at them. There they are again. Clayton and Desmond. And this time they're not going to grow a big pumpkin. They're not going to find a big apple. They're not going to make a big snowman. What are they going to do? They're going to make the biggest Valentine ever. Let's see. Here it comes. Once there were two mice who fell in love with the same Valentine, but it didn't start out that way. The day before Valentine's Day, Mrs. Mousley asked all the students in her class at Mouseville School to make Valentine cards. The two friends, Clayton and Desmond, decided to make a card together and give it to Mrs. Mousley as a surprise. Clayton cut a big heart out of cardboard. Desmond made a heart-shaped hole in the middle. Desmond cut out some small pink hearts and pasted them around the hole. Then he added a few more. That looks pretty cool. Clayton glued glitter on the hearts. Then he glued on more glitter. I don't know if you can ever have enough glitter. He stepped back. "You put too many hearts on," Clayton said. Desmond was upset. "You put too much glitter on the hearts." "Well, why did you make that hole in the middle?" asked Clayton. "I thought it looked nice," said Desmond. "It doesn't look nice. It looks awful," yelled Clayton. "I think it looks very nice," said Desmond, frowning. They glared at each other. Oh, no. I don't sense some warm and cozy feelings there. "I don't want to make a Valentine with you," yelled Clayton. "I don't want to make a Valentine with you," yelled Desmond. They tore their Valentine in half. "I'm going to make my own Valentine," said Clayton. "I'm going to make my own Valentine," said Desmond. That night at dinner, Clayton's dad said, "Son, you look sad. Can I help?" Clayton hung his head. He told his dad about the Valentine. Oh, look at his face in this picture. Does his face look happy or sad? He does kind of look sad, doesn't he? Clayton's dad thought for a moment. "You guys make nice Valentines on your own, but I think you would make an even nicer Valentine together." At the same time, over at Desmond's house, Uncle Vernon said exactly the same thing. Do you think they're going to work it out?
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to be friends again?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they might. I hope they are. I hope that when you have fights with your friends, you find a way to work it out. But Clayton didn't listen to his dad. He marched back to his room and began to make his own Valentine. He cut a big heart out of cardboard, but he didn't put a hole in the middle. He put pink hearts around the edge, but not enough pink hearts. Then Clayton put glitter on the hearts, but it was too much glitter. He stepped back and looked at his Valentine. It just wasn't right. At the same time, Desmond was making his very own Valentine. He cut a big heart out of cardboard, but he wasn't good at cutting large things, and his heart was lopsided. He made a neat heart-shaped hole in the middle, but then he put too many hearts around the hole. He sprinkled on some glitter, but not enough glitter. Desmond stepped back and looked at his Valentine. It just wasn't right. The next morning, Clayton and Desmond took the school bus. They sat far away from each other, but as they were getting off, Desmond tripped on the stairs. He bumped into Clayton, and they fell down. I think we should try making our Valentine again, said Clayton. No one said we couldn't, said Desmond. In the art class, Clayton and Desmond put their heads together and came up with a plan. Then Clayton cut out the biggest, most perfect red heart anyone had ever seen. They added a pink heart to fit in the middle. I love it that they're being a team and they're working together. Look how cool. They made that big heart in the background, and here's the smaller pink one that kind of has a design around the outside. And then what are they doing right here with their crayons?
Coloring it.
They're coloring it. They're kind of tracing that outside ring, aren't they, on the outside of that heart. Then Desmond, who was good at cutting small things, cut out some tiny pink hearts and pasted them onto the big red heart. Clayton added some glitter and cut out a bunch of other hearts. Desmond made a nose on one and a mischievous eye. What kind of Valentine are they making?
Big heart.
It was a heart shape, but it's now looking like something different. Taylor.
A mouse.
It looks like a mouse to me. Look at that little nose and the mischievous eye and that little smile. Then they glued all the hearts together. They stepped back to look at their card. It was a giant Valentine mouse. How cool.
Oh,
Wow, said Clayton. We did it. Wow, said Desmond. We did it together. They gave each other a high five.
we do this in every.
It's very similar. It's very, very similar. They cut up a lace doily and glued it around the edge. Then they wrote on their card in big letters, Happy Valentine's Day to Mrs. Mousley. We love you, Clayton and Desmond. Who was the Valentine for? Their teacher. They carried the Valentine to their classroom and gave it to Mrs. Mousley. She clapped with delight. The whole class cheered. It was the biggest Valentine ever, and it was also the best. That was so cute. And just as one of my friends in class noticed, this story is very similar to the other stories. It's very similar to the biggest apple ever and the biggest pumpkin ever and the biggest snowman ever, because they're looking for the biggest that they can find or making the biggest they can find. So those similarities are very, very cool about these stories. It's a little different, but mostly the same. We're glad you joined us, and we will see you next time.